All right, so this morning my green screen fell off, so I don't have my green screen right now. But I wanted to talk about what I'm doing today, I guess, in terms of mass. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, my program is mass building. So I'm trying to put on some more mass. It's actually going really well. By the end of this month, I'm going to do an update, just as I did with my last conditioning program. Which got me some really good results. And so I'll talk a little bit about what I'm doing in terms of my mass building, and yeah, and my nutrition, what changes I'm making and stuff like that right now. So I'll go over that. Okay. But one of the things that I was actually thinking about today, a couple of things actually. One is thinking about productivity and obviously what I'm going to do to progress with my program here. So I find that there's a couple interesting things that occur when you're trying to develop or progress. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about it in a competitive sense. So it makes a little bit more sense, and not everybody cares to compete or wants to compete or anything like that, but it's the best way to understand the concept is to think of it in a state of competition. And in a sense, I believe that we are all in a state of competition, whether we like to or not. It's just a natural state of being alive. So whether you're participating in the game or you're not participating in the game, you're still in the game. So a lot of times, um, the person that is knows more about a position of a job or makes it on time, has a better impression, is I gotta say it, it's even health and fitness. As much as we like to discredit, health and fitness, a vanity aspect for um, uh, for an advantage in life, it is. We are designed as humans to be able to pick out and select health. When you're looking at your person that you're going to choose as a lifetime partner, you will choose by a distinction of health. So you'll look at the skin, right? These are small distinctions. Actually, there was a documentary, actually, even by the scent that a person puts out, uh, actually helps with that process of determining um, mateability. Okay, so all of these things, vanity, appearance, and stuff like that, is a signifier of health. So when it comes down to health and fitness, we are still competing. It's an edge that allows you to compete in the world that we live in. Okay, so if you come to, let's say, a job interview and you look unhealthy, chances are your first impression is going to be specifically that. So you don't have that edge. So in a sense, whether you're fighting for a job position, um, you know, uh, if you're fighting for a position in which you're trying to share your information, so if you're a coach or a teacher, um, how you display your abilities is a manner of competition as well. So in a sense, we are all competing. Okay, so let's look at it in fitness. Okay, and I find that one of the greatest edges in competition is actually our ability to adapt and to learn. Okay, so when I'm looking at fitness, I've worked with a lot of people, and I've always had people come up to me and talk to me and ask me about fitness and stuff like that, and then I'll ask them, okay, so what are you doing? And some people that aren't really getting results, they're using the same information for years. Okay, so information is actually so important and so vital for making progress and making developing along this line of competition and keeping that edge. Because let's look at it in competing on a fitness stage. Fitness actually eventually comes down to, like anybody that's on the fitness stage has a methodology on how to eat and how to train. And it's not just train and lift. All these people are actually very specialized in what they do. Okay, so like I said, I've talked to a lot of people, and they'll be like, okay, I'm not making any gains. I say, what are you doing at the gym? And they're doing 3 sets of 10. And I'm like, okay, well, that's very much a beginner's program. Okay, so if you're doing 3 sets of 10, you're not really. That's great to start off, right? Getting your muscles used to a little bit of work, but yeah, you can't just stay 3 sets of 10. Even if you're increasing the weights, you need to develop methods to overload. And yeah, and people are sitting on this old idea of just oh, I just need to lift, to move, and eat clean. Okay, so this is where it comes down to the competitive edge is not only just about hard work, it's about your knowledge base and expanding what you know, so on and so on. So that actually really gives you the edge, is when you're able to learn and adapt. Okay, so there's so many key aspects to this. Learning and adapting also means how to use your productivity to increase. And it's the same thing. Okay, working hard is a key component, yes, but increasing your methodology for productivity to increase your workload is way more important than just working alone. Sorry, this webcam is not keeps sliding down here. So I believe that to be important in all aspects, whether you're training for fitness, to be able to change up your methodology to better the results while working hard in a smarter state. So not only does it require less work, but if you're already working hard on a method that is giving you greater results, you're going to get faster results, better results with the hard work. So I'm not saying that knowledge trumps hard work. You actually have to have both hard work as well as smart work. So it's both, right? So you can work as hard as you want on your 3 sets of 10, but and let's just be honest, a lot of people that are overweight, I'm never going to take away from them that they're working hard. I see a lot of them are actually putting in the time. They're at the gym, they're on the treadmills, and you see them there all the time, and yet progress is very slow. And like I said, when you go to if you know people that compete in fitness or bodybuilding, you know that their knowledge is actually very specialized. They're not just going to the gym and working hard, although the working hard is there. They're very strategic about how they're working hard. So it's so important to know, to have that advantage. And it's actually that knowledge and being able to adapt and use that knowledge to turn it into tangible, usable wisdom. And that's exactly what is going to give you that edge over somebody that's just working hard. And then, like I said, I'm never going to take away from working hard. It's so important. Right now, like it's not even 4:30. I'm up at 3:30, right? So I'm always trying to take advantage of that edge of working hard, but working smarter, right? and yeah, so you got to work hard to get things done, and that's really that edge that you're gonna need to really compete in the game of life. Whether you're participating or not, you're in the game, And people that are playing smarter and harder are going to be stepping ahead, right? So it doesn't matter if you're participating. The ones that gets the stake are the ones that are not only working hard but working smart, right? So, and it's always a case development. I mean, I might be talking about this right now on this video, but I'm still practicing and executing. So for me, I find that I love seeking out knowledge. I love learning more. For me, it's turning a lot of this into applicable methods and turning it to systems that I can use. So that alone is a process in itself. Sorry. So yeah, so I find that that's the edge, right? Again, you get your your person, let's make the comparison. You get that person that's working really hard at the gym, not really getting results, and then you get these people who specialize, like this is what people don't understand, is that a lot of, when you're talking to somebody that is competing in fitness or bodybuilding, their sport is weight loss, right? Their sport is getting lean. That's the sport, right? You get graded on fat loss, right? You go to Taekwondo, you get graded on how many kicks you can land, right? A headshot, 2 points or whatever, and a body is like 1 or whatever, right? You get scored on that. But in fitness, you're getting graded on fat loss, right? So it's very specialized knowledge, right? And when you're comparing the two, there's a huge difference, right? Um, so yeah. Anyways, lost my train of thought. As usual. I don't write down notes. This is all improv, all right? So anyways, let's get into what I'm doing here. So my mass program. All my rep schemes are set up for putting on mass hypertrophy. Okay, so it's been helping a lot. I have a method in which I'm using that doesn't change my rep scheme as I progress, but the load is increasing as I progress. I'm gonna go through this later. It might be confusing right now without me showing you my sheet. It's over there. It's kind of hard to understand. But anyways, it starts off with a hypertrophy rep scheme, and and yeah, so it's periodized in a way where it's starting off with a lot more weight training and less cardio, in which it's going to switch off towards the end of the 6 month where the cardio is more. So that way I start off by building and then I end off with cutting. So I put on the size and then I lean it out and then it should look really nice. So anyways, again, it goes back to that concept where you're not just doing the same thing. A lot of times that's what I find that people that are getting results are doing as well, is they have this workout where it's just like a straight line across, and they go to the gym and it's not periodized, so it's just the same thing with maybe a little bit of increase, trying to push their weights more and more. That's what they're trying to do, and it's not periodized. It's just a straight line across. You know what I mean? So. And again, when you look at periodization, this was first initially designed for an Olympic athlete to make that progressive gains. So there was a science behind it, and it was initially started to allow an athlete. I can't remember the name. I have it written somewhere. But anyways, to get the edge, and ever since they first discovered periodization, they ended up turning it into a science. So there's so much evidence backed up to back up periodization and maximizing its results. So this athlete that they used it on first ended up getting all the gold medals and all that stuff. So it's actually very important to understand if you want to make fast progress, to understand periodization. I mean, you'll make progress either way, but because what periodization does is it maximizes your recovery as well as your output. So that's the amazing part, because you're actually maximizing both recovery and, which is so important, right? Because a lot of times people are like overtraining, not really worried about recovery, right? They think that the more they train, the more results they're going to get. And that's true. Again, it goes back to working smart and working hard. So if you're able to actually work hard, and a lot of people are working hard and failing the recovery, but when you actually look at periodization, overtraining without supercompensation actually reduces your results. Okay, so a lot of times people will go to the gym and they'll keep working and working and working, and eventually they'll be like, how come I'm lifting less? It seems like I'm lifting less. They're not giving enough time for the supercompensation. So when you can actually balance both of them, the recovery and the hard work, that's when you're going to get straight line results, right? An incremental increase. When you're looking at a periodization chart, the incremental increase is always on an incline. right? So that's exactly what you want. Okay, so uh, in terms of my mass building program, again, it's designed for mass. The rep scheme is for mass, and that means my diet has to be matched with that as well. So I just announced it. I'm doing a carnivore's diet. I'm doing a lot of research, and it's not far from what I'm doing already. So what I was doing before is primarily the ketogenic diet, and ketogenic diet is exceptional for body composition management. If you actually look at people that do keto, and a lot of them are super shredded, super lean. Um, but and you but you don't see a lot of people that do keto that are massively muscular, right? And that's not to say that there is, but in terms of ratio. Okay, so again, when you're coming up with systems and stuff like that, I like to look at actual research and statistics and ratio. Okay, so when you put it all together, it says a lot, right? So I need to modify it in a way where I'm not just lean, but big. So it kind of gives me an edge that I started with a lot of bodybuilding style dieting when I first started the process, and then I started moving over to um, more endurance based. I would say that the ketogenic diet is an endurance based diet, considering that it uses body fat for fuel, which is a long term sustainable fuel source. Um, but I mean, ketogenic diet is good for lifting too. I mean, it convert your fats into ATP and stuff like that. So, but I think to build, it requires more aminos. Okay, so you can't build muscle out of thin air. So it has to build out of something. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be increasing my aminos. Now, normally I would, with a bodybuilding kind of program, I would use carbohydrates to flush uh, aminos and nutrients into the muscle to help build, because that insulin spike actually helps build muscle. Okay, so I'm not putting in the carbohydrates though. Why? Because I want to keep it lean, and I want my body to use carbohydrates as it needs, which means it's going to convert the excessive protein that I consume and turn and through a process called glyconeogenesis. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but your body can make carbohydrates. This is why carbs are not essential. Okay, so I really love the concept. There's a great book out there. It's called Keto Bodybuilding, and it's by Simland. Um, and and he talks about, he was saying Simland. He has a YouTube channel. I was watching his channel one time, and he was like joking about it. He says, "You're not gonna die by not eating that bagel," and it's very true. Your body can produce carbohydrates. It makes it. Okay, it's not an essential it's a non-essential nutrient. Okay, so you don't need it. Okay, so anyways, I'm not going to be putting in the carbohydrates still. That way I can still maintain a leanness, and I'm going to be forcing my body to create it through excess protein. It's funny because in the there was a book I was reading, and she was actually saying uh, she was her glucose was actually really high because her body got so good at gluconeogenesis that her body would produce. She had to reduce the amount of protein to lower the glycogen that was being produced in her body. So it's very interesting, the science behind keto, and you can actually still look full because your body is going to replenish that glycogen source through means that are not carbohydrates. So anyways, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be using protein to to produce the glycogen that my body needs to build as well. It's going to have plenty of aminos and yeah, which is the building blocks for building muscle. And so far, it's working really good. Okay, so anyways, this is 20 minutes in. I'm gonna stop yammering. What is it? 4:30 right now, and I'm gonna go do my workout and the rest of the day. All right, so hopefully some of this made sense. Again, this is all improv. There's no planning. I'm not reading notes or anything. So hopefully something good came out of it. And yeah, all right. See you later, guys. Be adaptable. Let's see what was the summary of it. Be adaptable, learning and turning that learning into applicable wisdom is key for mass building. Doesn't muscle doesn't produce out of thin air, so it needs aminos. Yeah, periodization is so crucial. Knowing how to work harder and work smarter to get that edge. Can really be the difference between, if you're talking about in terms of competition, could be the difference between winning and losing. Sometimes I believe that sometimes it's an information game. Two people that step on a competitive stage of bodybuilding and fitness, whoever was smarter with their diet and the training is the one that gets the better results on stage. So it's not just the one who's lifting and eating better, it's who's more specialized and knowledgeable in what they're doing. So yeah, to be able to work harder and smarter, right? It's not just working harder. Okay, so yeah, and I can expand on that forever, and it can go on to everything, in terms of productivity, in terms of, whatever, any area of your life, right? It's working harder and smarter. Don't take away from either of them, right? So yeah, that's it. All right, I'm out. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm gonna be putting a lot more of these videos out there. So that's it for now. All right, see you later, guys. Bye.